Do you regularly seek out the campus recycling containers, or do you recycle based on convenience?
Honestly, it's based on convenience, but like I said, like around campuses, it's like indoors and everything. It's not that hard to find a recycling bin.
Probably on convenience.
Okay. And are you aware the money earned from campus recycling efforts supports student scholarships?
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not. That's
Would you
actually
recycle
cool.
more?
Definitely.
Yeah. Awesome.
No hesitation on that one.
I did not know that. That's cool.
No, I was not aware of that.
Not aware of that. So I feel in the beginning our group for verbal and nonverbal was very distant when it came to proxemics. We kind of made space in between each group member, and you could kind of tell the way we sat. We were comfortable from working with each other from prior groups, but in a sense we weren't fully comfortable yet being in a group together. As the meetings kept going on and on throughout the project, we got closer and closer, and we would sit at round tables so we could all see each other. I think semantics played a big role into that. Group displayed a lot of underlying meaning when we would speak, or especially in our nonverbal communication with each other. Eye contact played a big role. If someone would start speaking or have ideas or contribute to the group, everyone would kind of put their focus all on them, and you could tell by, they would shift their head and look at whoever was talking and give that full attention, which I think helped make everybody feel comfortable and as if they were contributing and had a part. I also feel like facial expressions played a big role. Throughout meetings, I kind of observed each and everyone's responses, especially non-verbally, to whatever was being said or regarding the project idea process as well. Some people looked kind of unsure, or they wanted to say something but they didn't, but you could tell. I thought that was very interesting. As the project and the group process went on, I could see that people were speaking out more verbally of what they felt instead of holding it back, and seeing that in their nonverbal communication.
First meeting that we had, we all went around and talked about what we're passionate about, what we like to do in our off time, and what our strengths are, and just kind of about ourselves. And that gave us a good idea of what each of us can contribute to the group, and what resources we could do, and what ultimately helped us decide what project we wanted to do.
I feel like we did make decisions effectively. I feel like we did a lot of voting so that everybody would have fairness, and it would be very active and open. Everyone was actively listening, and everybody had their moment, and through voting and through listening, it was really effective. We had long, lengthy discussions. We didn't just pounce on an idea right away. We took our time thinking about how we wanted to do it. Was it going to be effective? And that's been really satisfying to see the group come to that place where when we make a decision, we have such a positive outcome from it that it's something that makes you feel like you made the right decision, and we're not just trying to hurry through our project and quickly make decisions. They have to be effective, they have to have a reason, and they have to be obtainable. That was another goal of ours, was making sure that the decisions we made were something that we could do. But we did, on the backlash of that, we did take a lot of time and have that time consumption of deciding and going through the 7 people in our group, and everybody having time to hash through what were the details, what were the pros and cons, and really make our decisions effectively so that we could turn out one of the best products that we could with our portfolio and with our project.
Can it be previous names? So you're used.
Yeah, it can be anything.
Students lead the way for saving the planet, because it
I
is
feel
on
like it's
campus.
more of like a newspaper headline though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect. It's not good.
No,
I'm just
yeah.
saying.
No, yeah. I'm just. Are we?
We nailed it.
Like, we don't want to limit ourselves, but are we?
Pretty bad.
Are we? I'm just confused. Like, are we doing like a group name or like a
No, it'll be like our group name.
Group
Okay,
name
okay.
/ slogan.
So, students save campus.
Okay.
I don't know.
Don't be trashy.
I'm gonna go with retro recyclers.
Hey, keeping it green.
Nice.
The green team.
The green team. Saving the planet. We're funding money for the scholarships. And scholarship
Oh yeah, green, like recycling, and green as in money.
BSU green curve.
This is one I stole from the internet, but recycle it forward instead of pay it forward.
Hey, I'm digging that.
No.
Or how about we recycle it forward in something green? Or the 7 recycle it forward.
Recycle forward, hashtag green team.
So who liked what the most? Can we do that real fast?
I like to recycle it forward, honestly.
I'm digging
I
that.
know it's not necessarily original, but
I like that, and I really do like don't be trashy, but I don't know if that's gonna work, but I do like
Yeah.
recycle it
I
forward.
think
Well,
it's funny.
we could put it in
we
there
could,
somewhere,
that
but
could
it
be like
wouldn't
our
a
little
name.
slogan underneath, like, so
Yeah.
like recycle it
Don't
forward,
be
and then
trashy.
underneath,
Don't be
like
trashy.
in parentheses, like,
I like
don't,
that.
or
Don't be
like, yeah,
trashy.
don't be
Yeah.
trashy.
After preparing documents and details for the executive meeting, we had the executive meeting, and Professor liked our idea, but she wanted us to really find out if some of our other ideas for projects had real barriers or they were just perceived by us. So through that meeting, we had support for our project, but we had to backtrack and make sure that all of our other ideas weren't feasible. And so that kind of made us brainstorm. We had to work together and call the different outlets of the other ideas that we had to make sure that we could do them or we couldn't do them, and that's what led us to our next idea, which was recycling cans on campus and promoting. We found out that through the sustainability office that recycling on campus funds scholarships, and so we wanted to have that on-campus effect of teaching people that recycling on campus helps fund the scholarships that help some people go to school that probably could not without those scholarships. A couple of the members of the group brought up that Earth Day was approaching and it was near the due date for the project, so we decided to work on Earth Day and set up a booth on the quad with 3. At first we were hoping recycling bins that we could get from the campus and maybe paint them or get in touch with the art department, have them paint them so they look pretty cool and have everyone recycle. But through some constraints of time, money, stuff like that, we found boxes to paint, decorate with different details on the show, recycling for cans, aluminum, and paper. And through that, we decided to set up a table on the quad where we had signs that said that we were supporting recycling on campus, which supports scholarships. At the Earth Day event on the quad, we didn't collect that much recyclables, which wasn't our real goal, but that was just how we were going to help support the fund. Our goal was spreading the word that scholarships can be funded by recycling on campus, and we thought that we did a really good job at spreading that word, and a lot of people did not know about this. And it was interesting to see that people were a lot more motivated to recycle on campus because they found out that it can fund scholarships. And so we thought that we really achieved our goal in spreading that word.
in general, our group really wasn't that diverse. The few diversities that we did have in our group were age, kind of our background or where we came from, and then also our degrees. Having our group leader have such that wide age gap between us and her, it really kind of developed a trust between, you know, the group and our group leader, just because she did have so much more experience than us, and it just really developed a trust right from the start. And then as far as our background of where our group came from, really having Lainey and Susanna be from Oregon is what really sparked the idea to have our project revolve around recycling. And then just having a group with so many different majors brought a lot of creativity to our group, which you know, in the beginning stages of our group of trying to develop ideas for the project, that was really helpful, having so many people from so many different majors and backgrounds.
Hi, how are you? This is our Latin American festival.
So comfortable doing this that I would say constructive was just part of the process, and there wasn't anything that was defined exclusively to meet trust or knowledge or insight, but if we had anything that was controversial or would have any potential for tension, it never really arose. We had a good sense of each other and we were comfortable, and I think that worked to our benefit. So there's my answer. Being sick is a constraint, not only on the group, but me personally. It makes for conflict that sometimes you can't make up for, and when you're sick, it's not something you ask for, it's not something you want to happen, but there it is.
Okay, one of the conflicts that I noticed was a big struggle with everybody balancing like your school life, your social life, and your work life, kind of like all those different priorities. And definitely, like for myself, I got invited to a work conference that was going to take away from meeting one of the group meetings. And I mean, it ended up getting canceled anyway, so that was pretty cool for me. Like, it made me feel a lot better about it. But still, there's just that struggle of like my other priorities and commitments, and having to balance that with the group and wanting to create like an ultimate like awesome product.
One thing that I thought arose regarding conflict in the group was definitely when we had the two ideas of doing the blankets for the animal shelter or recycling for Earth Day. Most of us were kind of on the fence, and we were kind of indecisive. We were like, oh, well, I'm good with either or, whatever. And it created some ambiguity for quite a while, for about a week and a half or 2 weeks. And that just generated, I think a bulk of the conflict in the beginning. We weren't sure specifically how people felt on it, but we got past it. But yeah, that was a huge thing.
I think that Olivia was a super effective leader for our group. She took what she was told in the instructions and definitely portrayed them in a way that the group members all agreed with. And I don't think that anyone really had a problem with her style because she was very open with everyone the entire time. Out of the 9 C's of leadership, I think that her top 3 were definitely her ability to communicate with us, her competence, and the level of creativity that she brought to the group. She definitely did a good job in facilitating all of our meetings and making sure that we stayed on track, because it was really easy, especially after we all started to get to know each other more, to kind of get off topic a little bit. We like to joke around, but she did a really good job allowing that to happen. And she empowered members, especially through email. We didn't have everybody able to text all the time, so we sent out a ton of different emails and communicated with each other every day, multiple times a day. She was definitely on top of making sure that if she noticed that maybe you hadn't done your journal entry for the day, she would make sure that you knew that she'd noticed and asked you to do that. So she also helped manage conflict within the group really well. If you had something that you couldn't talk about within the group, then you could always text her or call her, and she would respond within 20 minutes at the max. But overall, I think that she listened to what everybody wanted and always had the end goal in mind, and kind of let everybody decide as a group how the best way was to approach that goal and meet it in the end. And she definitely wasn't overpowering in any way, shape, or form. She left it to the group and made sure that we were taking advantage of different things like voting, and just making sure that she always knew where everybody stood on everything.